REED-BBS, BBS. Tank versus Frank. Recap. Tank improves to 30-0, 28 KO's by stretching Frank Martin in the 8th round. Good combination. He caught him with a looping right hand, which moved Frank into the vaunted GervontaTankDavis left uppercut, which Leo Santa Cruz knows all too well. Tank got him into that, bam, left uppercut, and then it lifted Frank, and he was already pretty much done, and then he added a left cross to that, which stretched my man on the canvas like he was reclining in a lazy boy chair without his remote control. He was leaned back like Fat Joe or somebody, like in a fucking lazy boy chair. All he needed was a remote control to turn the channel. That was it, because his lights were out, sir. I didn't like how Frank was just laying on the ropes in that moment, almost like a deer in headlights. Now, to be clear, Frank wasn't scared, but he fought a bit too. He was boxing when he should have been fighting, is the best way I could put it. The fight got to a point where outpointing and, being cute and slick, that wasn't going to get it done. Because from the outset, Tank had less than zero respect for Frank Martin's ability to hurt him. Tank defiantly walked him down in a way we haven't seen Tank do to a fighter in several bouts now. As he's slowly increased the level of opposition, he's become less and less of the, you see the record, 30-0, 28 KO's. Everyone thinks he's a killer. He's Mike Tyson. He's dog walking you. Well, that's what he did tonight, but that hadn't been the case with Tank in the fights with Rolly or Ryan, for instance, or Hector Luis Garcia, or even Pitbull. He had gotten into a pattern of counterpunching, Tank had, so it was refreshing to see him revert. It was also easier for him to deal with any rust he might have been experiencing since he hadn't fought since the Ryan fight, April of 2023. So coming out aggressive, you're gonna get warmed up quicker. You're gonna get over rust quicker if you're aggressive versus trying to be slick and accurate and all this shit. But yeah, Frank, the broadcast team, I believe Joe Goosen was doing the scorecard. He had Frank winning the first 3 rounds. I could see 2 of the first 3. 2 of the first 3. I think Tank won the second. But then Frank just became a little too gun shy. Like he was moving, and he would stick the probing jab out there, but he followed it up with nothing. And it just becomes a bad look after a while when you never, ever put your opponent on his back foot. Frank landed some shots early. Tank would take half a step or a full step back, and then he was right back on Frank. Right back on him. Showing clear to the world, apparently and abundantly, that you can't hurt me, bruh. And with Frank being the larger, taller, thicker, more heavily muscled man, it was kind of a strange look. And then again, you punctuate it by just basically sitting in the corner, almost like a white chick in a horror flick. You're just waiting for doom, waiting for the impending doom to hit you. And it hit him. Well, what we do know about GervontaTankDavis is when he connects clean, things happen. Shit happens. And it did with Frank, man. He got stretched out. He was 10 counted. No shame, no harm in that. It is what it is. He should be better for the experience. Maybe next time he'll, go for it a little more. You got to implement fighting with boxing. He boxed a little too much, in my opinion. Now, I will say, having seen Frank at the elite level, I am very glad he didn't agree to fight Shakur Stevenson, because that shit would have probably been worse than the Shakur-Edwin De Los Santos fight. So, yeah, some matchups don't need to happen. We don't need to see Shakur versus Frank Martin. That's for damn sure. And prior to the fight, that's how confident Tank was in winning. Prior to this fight with Frank Martin, it was already announced that, well, it wasn't by Tank, but by Bob Arum, that they're negotiating, Tank and Loma, for a November unification bout. It's about goddamn time, Tank. Loma's been calling your name since you were at 130, bruh. 130, not 30, 30. So I would love to see that one. It might be some practice that Tank has been doing fighting these southpaws of late. Let me get this work with Frank Martin, quick athletic southpaw, and then face Loma. Loma's gonna be a trickier, harder out, and it'll be interesting to see if Tank tries to walk Loma down, because I think Loma's gonna try to walk him down. That's gonna be a real good fight. No predictions on that right now. Way too damn early in the game. But we'll get there. But yeah, let's see it. Loma versus Tank. I don't want to see Tank with nobody that isn't in that top 5, hovering in the top 5 of either 35 or 40. No gimmies, none of that. No more giving chances and shit. You know, you gave Frank a break and shit. He did the best he could. I need you against elite dudes. Elite dudes, belt holders, former belt holders, something of the ilk, Tank. But good performance, man. One thing about Tank, he does not disappoint. 30-0, 28 KOs. It speaks louder than any words me or anyone else could say in a fucking video. REED-BBS, BBS. Blackbird Sugar, Bachelor's in Boxing Studies. Television! Fred Sanford of the Fisticuffs. When all is said and done, there's nothing left to say or do.